to actually improve production.
Well, I'm glad Senator Kane raised this. And it was obvious that it needed to be raised, but I'm glad we were able to nail that down in this hearing. So thank you, Senator Kane. Senator Budd.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Admiral, it's great to see you. I enjoyed our conversation a week or so ago. It's great to see a North Carolinian here, even so much. We got a great 100 counties, but I think we even share roots in Forsyth County. So it's great to see you, and congrats on your nomination. Glad to see your family and supporters here as well. You've said, Admiral, that many other Navy leaders have talked about rebuilding and boosting production of our Navy fleet. And, it's a decade-plus endeavor. And my concern is that our adversaries, they're not going to wait for that decade. They're going to try to outpace us. And I'm also concerned that the next conflict's not going to look like what we're building towards. It might include it, but it's also more than that. So, Admiral, what steps will you take to invest in unmanned systems, whether that's aerial, surface, underwater, and how do you see them used for projecting power?
Well, Senator, thanks, and it's great to have a North Carolinian here with me, and I appreciate the time we got to spend in our office call. There is no question that unmanned robotic autonomous systems will be part of any modern warfare going forward. The learning that we've had from the Russia-Ukraine, we see it in spades, we see it from the Israel conflicts. We're all learning from this. Everyone is, including our adversaries, so we have to pace that. So there has to be robust investments in robotic autonomous unmanned systems. There has to be good, clean command and control. There has to be good concepts of operations. There has to be good ideas on how we're going to deliver those capabilities so they're not just PowerPoint deep. There's got to be good sustainment. And if we're going to make things actually call them attritable, they really need to be attritable. It's not in our nature in the Navy to really treat things attritable. And so we can spend money that maybe is not necessary in that area where we need to just be able to get a paradigm shift on how we treat those. But I completely agree with you, and if confirmed, you have my commitment that this idea of a hybrid fleet will be part of my vision for the future of the Navy.
Thank you, Admiral. That was a question about how we play offense, but let's talk about how we play defense as well. So what would you do to protect our naval installations and assets from unmanned threats? And how would you work across the federal agencies to make sure that we don't have a modern-day Pearl Harbor with drone swarm or any other types of modern attacks?
Well, Senator, my current position at Fleet Forces, I'm also the Naval Component Commander to NORTHCOM. So it's my responsibility for force protection of all CONUS bases. And so this idea of having good counter unmanned aerial systems at our installations is extremely important to me. It's something I've worked very closely with General Guillot, the NORTHCOM commander, on. It really got highlighted with the UAVs that were seen around Langley and around Earl, New Jersey, kind of put this on the map. But it's something we've been watching for several years, understanding we're not well equipped at all of our bases to handle that threat. So this ties to, Section 130I authorities for covered bases and assets to make sure all bases have those authorities. These are best of breed practices as joint solutions. Some of my sister services have better solutions than the Navy. I need to learn from that and field some of those capabilities. But at the heart of that, sir, is good common operational picture so the base commander can see the environment and a range of ways to actually approach countering attacks that they may encounter from UAVs. And that has to be non-lethal and lethal effects.
Thank you. So if confirmed, Admiral, how would you direct the Navy's acquisition system, if it's buying systems like you just talked about or anything else you have in mind or that we need? How would you do that to cut red tape, streamline contracting, and speed up delivery of these critical systems? I know we've talked about that, but drill down, if you would, to the first 90 days, how you'd want to get after this.
Well, I need to get smarter on the impediments that currently exist in law. As an operational commander for most of my career, I've been, I'll call it somewhat of a victim of it and not necessarily a person that's, been able to, take charge on it. But now I find myself, if confirmed, being in a position to do that. I know there's a lot of red tape. I know there's a lot of antiquated laws. I know there's a lot of acquisition process that needs to be streamlined. I know there's authorities that need to be pushed down with better delegation, commercial solution offerings and agreements that we need to leverage to actually get these capabilities faster and more effectively to our warfighters. And then a quick ability to actually test, field, experiment, and get this out in the actual deployment cycle, so we're actually getting the entire Navy's hands-on approach to actually operating these systems more effectively.
Thank you. Any thoughts on working with international partners for maintenance and repair for our Navy fleet?
Senator, I think this is the state of our maintenance and shipbuilding and other areas of the like is a 100% all hands on deck. So I would be remiss if I didn't consider partners that want to help me until I get my ship industrial base in the United States, along with the Department of Defense and the interagency, this is a whole of government approach, up on step. So I do agree that allies and partners can be crucial in helping us in this interim time while we're working to get our industrial capacity in the United States to the place it needs to be.
Thank you, Admiral.
Admiral, as you drill down on